What's up everybody? Welcome back to another one of my videos, and in this video we're going over my league week 10 matchups and basically the results of week 9 and everything that's going on in my league. So first up, week 9 results. So Jose ended up beating me 5-4. It was a bad week. Look, we had well, my team personally has a bunch of injuries, so we have 5 R slots and I'm full, and I still have an extra guy because of COVID. I ended up having Derek White just on my bench, just sitting there, and then the Texas weather really hurt my team as well. Because I have Porzingis now, they're only supposed to play twice, but if you look, I lost 3-pointers by 2 and blocks by 3. Had Porzingis, if he would have played, I may have been able to win both those categories and won 6-3, but it wasn't the case. It's all good. Losing 4-5 isn't the worst thing. I'll take that any day of the week over like a 2-7 loss, because those are rough. But in any case, Jose maintains his position in first place in the evens division, while I fall to second place in the odds division. So how did I fall just by losing 4-5? How did I fall second in the odds division? Because the Dame Show defeated Team Seeper 8-1. It was just a blowout the whole time. Like, I was even talking to Rick, like it was like Thursday, and the games were just, it was over. Seeper isn't much like my position, where he is overfilled with injuries, and I do think he has some IR slots available. He just hasn't used them, and even if he does, there's not that great. The options just aren't that great in the waiver wire, so he's just dealing with a bunch of injuries right now. Like KD, I mean, Karl Anthony Towns just got back. He has Oladipo. He has 2 people on the IR. I can't remember who they are, but in any case, it wasn't even. You guys could look at these totals. Like, you just look at points. It's like a 500 differential there, almost 100 in rebounds, like 70 in threes, like 150 in assists. It was just not even steals is like 30. Okay, like 25, but still, that's insane. That just goes to show you how much Seaver's team is hurting right now. All right, so for our next matchup, Jason, all great ones, defeated Badakana 7-2. This was a crazy matchup, as I was talking about in last week's episode. This was the matchup of the week, because if one of these 2 teams that were both in third in their divisions respectively, if either one won big, that could have catapulted them big time, and it kind of did. So if you look, Jason won, right? Rick won. The Dame Show won 8-1. Jason won 7-2, and I lost 4-5. So my record is 44, 35-2, and Rick is now ahead of me by a half a game with a 44, 34-3 record. But Jason's team is 43, 37-1, which means I think that's like a game and a half behind Rick for the top spot. So we're all right there. We're all neck and neck. And Jason's team was just on fire. Like, if you look, there wasn't, the only thing that was close was steals, and Badonk barely won that. So, oh, and points was close too. This could have easily gone 9-0. This could have gone 9-0 to Jason. Yeah, luckily for Mike, he ended up salvaging the week with a couple of wins, but still, that's going to hurt, and that dropped him 4th into his evens division. All right, so for the next matchup, we have Best defeating Adams, St. Clair Saints. Basically, Adams pretty much given up. He's all but verified that when I was talking to him. And it's going to basically be a wash. It's going to kind of be like a bye week here going forward, as he's barely even setting his lineup. It's unfortunate. Maybe I should replace him, but I don't think that'd be fair to do. But I may just do that anyway. We'll see what happens, because I do want people to set their lineups regardless, or at least try, even if you are losing. It's just stupid not to. Anyway, good week for Best. He barely won field goal percentage. When I say barely, is like within the same percentage, so it was close. But outside of that, it looks like everything else was in fair order for Best, and he kind of lucked out with the percentage. He won it. 7-2 victory, huge for him. He's out of the, he's above 500 now. Very good for him. And again, the odds division. The odds division is stacked right now. We have 4 of the 5 teams above 500. and then Adams is the last team, which gave up. So um, anyway, the last matchup we have is Mark defeating Team Stewart, who's still in a big rut. Mark won 6-2-1. Ty was in steals, and it looks like threes could have gone either way, and even rebounds were fairly close going into the last day. It looks like so. Stewart had his team just been, I don't know, healthy per se. Like he has Christian Wood, he's hurting. I remember he actually had to drop DeAndre Hunter because he's hurt to add a different, more valuable player into his IR slot. So my team's full with IRs. I think Stewart's is, and even Adams, he's not playing with the St. Clair Saints. He would be like 4 or 5 slots in. So basically, what I'm getting at though, and Team Steeper too, he'd be 4 or 5 slots in. I think he's full. What I'm getting at, 4 of our 10 teams are close or maxed out with the IR slots, and that's 5 IR slots. Like no one else plays 5 IR slots. I'm just a big believer in whoever you draft on your team, you should be able to hold on to. And I didn't know how COVID was going to play out, so I'm really glad I put the 5 IR slots because if there's this many injuries in my 10 team league, I'm sure every league is feeling this right now, and it's just unfortunate. I really hope that the NBA decides to like take a break during the All-Star break for like an entire week or something, trying to get people healthy and away from COVID and whatnot. And maybe they have to do like a bubble formation for the rest of the season. It's not that like we're halfway through the season, but maybe like the last 2 months of the season, the last 8 weeks or something, they should highly consider that because this is really hurting fantasy basketball. And if it hurts the people viewing the games, then it means people are gonna get turned off and stop watching. And that's basically what we had with the Dame Show versus Sieber. That matchup was over Wednesday to Thursday. Rick's like, yeah, I don't even want to watch basketball anymore, and I feel that even Sieber would probably say the same thing. And if you look at all these matchups, we were close throughout the first 7 weeks. We had almost every matchup was 5-4. Now the last couple of weeks, all these injuries, the Texas weather, COVID, they're hitting teams and they're hitting them hard, and now we're seeing a bunch of blowouts. The only team that was 5-4 was my matchup with Jose. Every other one was 6-2-1 or better. That's crazy. In any case, it's a big win for Mark. He jumps to third in the evens division over taking Badakana's spot in the evens division, while Team Stewart is still holding on to the second overall slot in the evens division, but just barely. He's barely over 500. So, and Mark's right behind him. He's like 2 games behind. So that tie was actually pretty huge because they could have been 1 game differential heading into this week's matchup. Speaking of the standings, I decided to do something a little bit different than just show the standings. You could see all the stats throughout the whole season as well if you're interested in that kind of thing. I'm not going to go over any of it, but the reason I'm putting it in is because it shows me the records of the last week in case I need to look back at them. So going into the standings, odds division, the Dame Show overjumped me, so he's now first with a 1 victory over Team Seaver. I lost 4-5 to Jose, so I fall a half game behind the Dame Show, and All Great Ones won his matchup 7-2. So now I only have like a game and a half above him. So if the playoffs started today, I'm pretty sure I would be playing Jason, and that would be a really hard matchup for both of us. Neither one of us probably want that when we could be playing a team like Stewart, who's struggling right now. It's better than what it is, but it is struggling right now. Team Mark is good, but I personally wouldn't want to play Mark's team because I don't match up well against it. But Badakana, I feel like I would be a favorite in there. And best team, I don't know what's going on with best team. It's above 500 though. It does look like this division is shaping up to be quite a good one, as he is 4th, and I'm just looking at it. He's only a game back behind Jason. So between the first place in my division, which is the Dame Show, and 4th place, which is Team Best, it's only a 3-game differential. It's anyone's division now. Anyone's division, as Team Best defeated their opponent. I believe it was St. Clair Saints. So he defeated them 7-2. So Adams all but out. I mean, now honestly, I bet if I took over Adam's team, I bet I could make the playoffs with this team. It's a good team. It's just that he's just given up. Like he doesn't want to use waivers. He doesn't want to put people on IR. He doesn't want to do anything but set his lineup, and it's just too much work for him. So it is what it is. But I do think I'm gonna talk to him about getting a replacement in at some point because it's kind of stupid having a bare team for a 10-man league. In any case, the evens division, we still have Jose in first. He won while Team Stewart lost. So Jose won 5-4 last week. Team Stewart lost 2-6-1. So he picked up a couple extra games. So now he's 3.5 games ahead in his division with Team Mark in third place, just 5.5 games. So anything can happen. Like now, Team Mark has Anthony Davis, so that's a huge blow to him. I wouldn't think of him as much of a threat now because he has him and Russell Westbrook, but nonetheless, it is still a solid team all around. So maybe if he could win some 5-4 matchups and Winterwolf Cheese takes a big loss, if something like that happens, then we might be in a close division like the Oz division. Now, as for Badakana, he's 38-43 and 38-43, 7 games back, still not bad. And Team Seeper rounds out the division. I think he was 4th last week, and he went down to 5th, and Badakana was 3rd. He went down to 4th. I think that's how it went. Or maybe Seeper remained in 5th. But Seeper needs to do something because, man, he's 3 games out of. So, again, the Oz division has 4 teams above 500. So basically, Dame Show is going to be the first seed right now, as he has the best record by a half game. And then I'd have the third. Oh, I would have the third overall seed. Okay, and then and then Jose has the second in the evens division. Then I think it would be Jason for 4th, Best for 5th, and then Team Stewart in the evens division for the 6th seed. Team Mark with the 7th, and Badakana for the 8th. So Seeper needs to he really needs to watch Team Mark and Team Badakana right now to try and make playoffs. He's only 3 games back behind the 8th seed and only 4.5 behind the 7th seed, which that matters because you don't know. You just don't know what's going to happen. So really quick, the trade block hasn't changed. Skylar and Jose is still looking for point guard depth. Best still looking to trade point guards like Kyrie and Kobe White. He's also looking to trade Al Horford among others. Last time I talked to him, it was assists that he needed and steals, but he's been doing well with those as of late. So maybe he has changed his focus to other categories. Seeper is willing to trade Vuk, but it's going to be at a high price, which I don't blame him still. Rick is waiting to see what kind of team he has still. Mike's good on his team. I'm just trying to get healthy at this point because I have 7 guys who didn't play last week. And then Mark is unlikely seeking a trade. Adam's more or less stunned with the league. And Jason, I don't know where he stands. All right, for the Week 9 breakdown, I have my team going up against all great ones. And basically, based on last week, I'm not favored in anything, while Jason will be favored in both percentages, threes, rebounds, turnovers, and points. And it could go either way in assists, steals, and blocks, like we were close in those categories last week. He would have destroyed me last week. I really hope these postponed games don't affect me too much. I have the Indiana-San Antonio game postponed tonight, so I lost 2 guys while he lost Malcolm Brogdon. So it kind of evens out because I'm losing Derek White and TJ McConnell, even though I'd rather play the game rather than not, because I do think my guys, they could have a bigger nights than Brogdon, but that's just my opinion. In any case, based on last week's results, that's why I don't have anything favored for me, but it's just based on last week. Clearly, hopefully, if we don't have any postponed games, COVID doesn't hit, Texas weather gets better, things will change for this week. Hopefully I could get a big, much-needed win against a worthy opponent, especially since we're 2nd and 3rd in our respective divisions. So it's going to go this is probably going to be a matchup that Rick really focuses on this week outside of his matchup, because a big win from either one of us can catapult one of us into the top seed in the Odds division. For our next matchup, we have Seeper versus Best. Seeper's been struggling. Best has been struggling. His players have been struggling, but they've been playing. Seeper's just been riddled with injuries, so I do expect Best to be the favored favorite in this matchup. Sieper is favored in free throw percentage and turnovers, and Best is favored in field goal percentage, threes, assists, rebounds, steals, and points, while it's a coin toss in blocks. For our next matchup, it's a really good one. Well, it should have been a really good one, but Team Stewart his team's been struggling as of late, and he'd be playing the Dame Show, who is now first in the odds division. Both teams are above 500, which is good. But Team Stewart had a really bad week for his second week in a row, and so I would only favor him in turnovers this week, while Rick should be favored in threes, assists, steals, blocks, and points, while it should be a coin toss in either percentage category and rebounds. So this is so we only had 2 trades so far in my league, and these 2 guys made the first one, and it was Stewart trade Dame, Ja, and Jimmy Butler for Christian Wood and Bam Adebayo. And right now it's really working in Rick's favor, as Wood is injured and Bam hasn't been playing that well as of late, while Dame has just been killing it with Nurk out, with CJ out. And Butler's been playing really well, like a triple-double potential machine. Great player to put next to Harden. And Ja, who hasn't playing as well, but the trade was still good in Rick's favor as of right now. For our next matchup, we have Jose versus Adam. So Metal World Peace versus St. Clair Saints, and Jose is favored in everything but turnovers, as Adam's basically all but done. He's probably only going to set his line for half the week, if he does at all. And for our last matchup, we have Team Mark versus Badakana. 2 brothers are going at it in the evens division, and Mark is ranked 3rd. Badakana is ranked 4th. So it's a big. So this is the 7 versus 8 seed. So Team Sieper needs to win this week against Team Best, who's also, well, he's about 500, but he is low in the odds division. Team Sieper, if he could pull out a big win this week, he might be able to catapult Team Mark or Team Badakana for the 8th seed and get back into the playoffs, because all it takes is just get into the playoffs and anything can happen. So anyway, for this matchup, Team Mark should be favored in threes, rebounds, assists, blocks, and points, while Mike should be favored in free throw percentage and turnovers, while it should be a coin toss in field goal percentage and steals. That's probably the matchup of the week, because it has serious what's the word I'm looking for? I'm blanking, but it basically is going to be huge for the end of the playoff season, like the lower end of the playoff projections. All right, guys, that's all I have for you in this video. Remember, hit the like button if you liked just hearing about my league, and make sure you subscribe, as I'm going to be dropping more informative, helpful content throughout the basketball season. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you guys keep checking out my videos, and thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.